Have you ever looked into a mirror and not recognized the person staring back? Not because your hair was messy or your eyes were tired, but because something deeper felt disconnected. What if the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself? And what if that relationship could finally begin today? Ethan Reynolds was a graphic designer living in Portland. He had the loft apartment, the creative clients, the kind of Instagram feed that made people say, "Wow, you're living the dream." But what no one saw, what even he tried to ignore, was how every morning began with a fight. Not with anyone else, but with the reflection in the mirror. He'd glance quickly, just enough to style his hair, brush his teeth, maybe critique his posture, and then came the whisper, "You're not good enough. You're falling behind. They're going to find out you're a fraud." Sound familiar? That quiet, cold voice. We all have it. The inner critic. It doesn't shout, it seeps in. A slow drip of self-doubt formed over years from society's impossible standards, from parents who meant well, from a comparison culture that rewards curated perfection over messy authenticity. Ethan's inner critic wore many masks: perfectionism, imposter syndrome, the endless loop of why can't I be more like them? He kept hustling, pushing for validation, chasing applause, avoiding silence. Because in the silence, the voice got louder. But something changed on a rainy Tuesday. He was running late, spilled coffee on a new shirt, missed a client call, and finally stood in front of the mirror, utterly drained. And for the first time, he didn't look away. He looked deeper, past the stubble, past the tension in his brow, and he whispered back, "I'm tired of hating you." That was the first crack in the mask. That single moment of honesty, not grand, not cinematic, but real. And real is where healing begins. That night, he found something online called the 3-Minute Mirror Challenge. Simple enough. Stand in front of the mirror, look into your own eyes, and say out loud, "You are worthy. You are enough. You are learning to love yourself exactly as you are." He laughed the first time, felt silly, but he did it again the next night, and the next, until one day, it didn't feel silly. It felt true. He began to reframe the voice in his head. When the critic whispered, "You're failing," he'd respond with, "I'm growing." When it said, "You're falling behind," he'd say, "I'm on my own path." Language mattered, because words build worlds, especially the ones we speak to ourselves. Ethan's world didn't change overnight. His emails still piled up, deadlines still loomed. But he changed. He allowed himself to show up imperfectly. And in that imperfection, something radical happened. People connected with him more. Clients trusted him more. His friendships deepened because he was finally showing up as himself. He started posting less about aesthetics and more about authenticity. Not every day was easy, but each day felt more real. One morning, months later, he stood in front of the mirror, and the reflection didn't seem like a stranger anymore. It looked peaceful, like someone who had stopped fighting himself. And here's the truth. We all have that inner critic, but we also have an inner guide, the voice of self-compassion, the whisper that says, "You don't have to be perfect to be loved. You don't have to earn your worth. You just have to see yourself fully." So if today your reflection feels unfamiliar, if the voice in your head feels more enemy than friend, maybe it's time to begin again with a mirror, 3 minutes, and the gentle courage to speak kindly to yourself. Because in the end, the most profound relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself. And it starts not with becoming someone else, but with finally embracing who you already are. So today, just for a moment, mirror, and really look, not for flaws, not for what needs fixing, but for the person trying, the person healing, the person who deserves kindness. Ask yourself, who's truly staring back? And more importantly, what beautiful journey will they embark on next? If this story resonated with you, share in the comments. When was a time you chose kindness over criticism, even in the smallest way? Let's fill this space with stories of reflection, growth, and grace. And if you're ready to walk this journey with us, hit like, subscribe, and share this story with someone who needs to hear it today. Because here at Story Lantern, we believe in the power of stories to light the way home.